welcome to cooking. Today we are doing an apple carrot fall salad. One of those non-green leafy ones, and the longer it lasts, the better it tastes. So let's read through ingredients. We have some seeds here. So interestingly, originally the recipe had called for pepitas, those pumpkin seeds, which were $9 a container, much smaller than this. And then these ones Marianne found sitting beside, they're sunflower seeds for $1.99. So guess which one we're going with today? We're going to do sunflower seeds. And it says to roast them, but these ones are roasted and unsalted, so it's already done that step for us. And at the same time too, if you find a bag of nuts or seeds in the back of your cupboard and it's older, you bite into it and they're a little bit soft, you don't need to throw them out. You just whip them into a hot pan. Don't need to add any oil because the oil in the nut or seed is going to come out, but you just saute them on a medium to high temperature, and that is going to pull out that softness. It's going to crisp them up again, and it's going to make them taste a lot fresher and crispier and nuttier. It really adds a lot of flavors to the nuts and seeds. So we're going to be making a sunflower seed salad. And then we have our dressing. We've got some apple cider vinegar, just enough left. Some extra virgin olive oil, because we know that extra virgin olive oil is the best oil for our bodies. Proven to us by all those Mediterranean people that are so healthy. So anytime we can get olive oil into us, we are going to do that. So this is one of those times. Got a little sweetener in your honey. And today we're doing an old-fashioned Dijon mustard. That is my favorite. And then the spices, we've got a few different spices today. You can add just an allspice or a cinnamon. This one is cloves. We have allspice and cinnamon. I like a little extra cloves, so we're going to sprinkle a little bit of that on top. And then we have a little bit of salt just to enhance that flavor. So after that dressing is made up, then we've got our apples we're going to slice up. And we want them, again, similar sizes, right? So our pumpkin or our sunflower seeds are small. And so we're going to cut our apples into thin slices, and then we're going to chunk them into smaller pieces even still. And we've got our red onion already sliced up very thinly by Marianne. And we have a carrot. It's already been peeled. And we're just going to peel it further with a potato peeler and chop that into smaller bites, so that in every scoopful, we're going to get a little bit of everything. And then instead of raisins, today we have cranberries. So if you have raisins, add them. If you have cranberries, go for it. Cranberries and sunflower seeds do taste really good together. And then out of the garden, we've got some fresh mint. So let's go through our directions. If we need to preheat our nuts, you can turn your oven on and do that, or you can do that in a skillet or a frying pan as well. You just got to keep your eye on it because it is direct heat, and those will burn faster than in an oven. So step number 3 is in a medium bowl. We're going to whisk all of our ingredients together. And then number 4 is to cut up the apple. Now it just describes how to properly cut it up for this recipe that we find is easier after taking the sticker off. Remember, we have washed everything here. Wash your fruits and your vegetables. Just wash away anything that's on them. So it says to stand each apple upright, cut from the top to the bottom around the core, and cut off the opposite side, and then you cut the 2 middle pieces. So you're just making 4 slices. And then you're going to get 4 pieces, and with that way of cutting, it's easier to get the really thin pieces of apple that we're going for. So after you chop up the apples, you're going to add them to the dressing, because we know apples in air oxidize really quickly and turn brown, so we're going to try to keep them from turning brown. And I think we're just going to make everything in that big bowl, because that's where the dressing is going to be, and we're just going to add the apples and everything else to it. So after the apples are all in, we're going to add in our red onions. We're going to potato peel the carrots, add our raisins and our mint and our seeds, and we're going to toss it well. And that's all it is. This salad will last a good long time in the fridge, up to 7 days if you don't eat it first altogether. All right, so let's carry on, and we are going to make our dressing. So a tablespoon. Oh, and I'm going to empty this. Look at that, exactly a tablespoon. That was really well planned out. And a tablespoon of olive oil. There we go. And what I like, when I measure honey, I like to measure first some sort of oil or fat in my measuring spoon, because after you measure the honey, look at that, it all comes out really easily because of the oil that was in there. So we're going to get our half a tablespoon of dry mustard. I'm just going to use my 1 tablespoon measurer and only fill it up halfway. I'm going to add that in. Dressings that are homemade are fantastic to always keep in your either cupboard if they don't have any refrigerator ingredients in them, or in the fridge if there's something like this that has something from the fridge in it. There's so much more healthy for us if we can make our own. So for spices, this calls for half a teaspoon ground cinnamon or allspice. And I'm going to add probably a couple pinches of cloves. I really enjoy cloves. And then I'm going to put the allspice. I'm going to do a mixture. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of the allspice, but also a bit of a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of the cinnamon. That cinnamon and apple combination to me is heavenly. If you only have cinnamon at home, just add a half a teaspoon or more of the cinnamon and you'll be all set. So then we have a 1/4 teaspoon of our salt. There we go, measured that out well. And then we're just going to mix that around and get that all mixed together. There isn't a whole lot down in the bottom because those are very strong flavors. So as we're adding our apples, we're just going to have to toss them really well every time we add some apples to get them coated. I'm just trying to get the honey off the bottom there. And as this sits, that apple cider vinegar and the oil is going to separate out. So we're just going to have to continue to stir that, but that's all right. Perfect. So we've got Marianne chopping up her 2 apples. Let's add our onion. So this is a 1/4 of an onion, very thinly sliced. That looks like a really big onion. I think I'm just going to add, we'll see if we need it all. See how much this carrot gives to us. And so then we've got this carrot. It says 1 large carrot peeled. So we've already peeled it. Now if you get a carrot in the summertime, kind of just cut off the end because you might not have to peel it. The peel just sometimes gets a little bit bitter, but of course we know a lot of vitamins and nutrition in that peel and just underneath. So if we don't have to peel it, we definitely won't do that. And this peeler, oh, thank you, Marianne. Let's add these. There's one of our apples. We'll get them covered in our dressing so that we'll keep them from browning. You can see how she nicely peeled them so that they're thin, just like those onions. And try to break them apart because they always stick together in clumps. There we can see the cinnamon and the allspice mixing with that apple. That's a lovely look right there. So because we know that carrots come in all different sizes, and this one is quite a large one, we will just kind of peel about half of it and then add it all together and see what that balance looks like. Now this peeler isn't all that sharp, as you can tell. It's They're very, very thin ribbons, so your peeler, if it's sharper, might give you thicker ribbons, which is totally fine. Oh, if you have like steamed carrots or roasted carrots that are a little bit crunchy left over from a supper, that's going to taste really delightful. If you'd rather use that instead of a raw ribboned carrot, you can add chunks, small chunks of a cooked carrot that's been roasted, because they get sweeter, right? All those roasted vegetables, they taste a lot sweeter than they do just raw or steamed. So it would be a really nice addition. So let's end there.
If you really thinly sliced it, that would too.
Yeah, you can definitely thinly slice. Like if you've got a board that juliennes, so you could take your carrot and just go like this, so you could thinly slice that and then chop it, or just, you know, with your knife, you can just cut it in half and then julienne it, which just means to cut in really thin slices, like you see in wraps, the julienned carrots.
Even the packages where it's shredded.
We could use those packages of julienned kind of carrots that they have in there, and then because if you have a hard time doing this, or you just want a quick addition of carrots, that would work. Marianne's just gonna add that other apple up, but you can see that there's still a good amount of dressing. It's on the bottom there, so we want to get all of that coated. Trying to break up those carrot pieces too, because they can get clumped up. All right, so let's add our sunflower seeds. So it calls for half of a cup. Now, if you're going to eat this, like if you're making it today but not eating it for a day or two, I wouldn't add the seeds because they're going to absorb some moisture and get really soggy. The great part about this salad is the crunch that goes with those apples and the seeds. Yeah, don't add those if you're gonna wait a day or so before eating. All right. Something I do find with raisins and cranberries is that as they get older, of course, they get drier. So something that you can do if yours are quite dry, these aren't too bad. Those have some moisture in them still. But if yours are quite dry, you can add them to boiling water and just let them sit for a minute or two. And those are gonna plump up. And then that's gonna be a really fun squish because they'll be a lot more hydrated. Just trying to break up one of these clumps. Remember when you buy your raisins to not buy ones that have sugar coating added to them or vegetable oil. Oh, Marianne adds these to her porridge. That's a delightful taste. Look at how pretty that is. That is such a great colorful salad. And if we look at this as far as a complete meal goes, ooh, thank you, ma'am, then we've got the apples because we've got our fruit in there. We've got our veggies from our carrots and our onions. We've got a little bit of protein from our nuts and our seeds. And we've got a little bit of fat, which is really good. We always need fat at a meal as well. So this is more of a snack because there's not a whole lot of protein. If you wanted to add chicken to this or tuna to this, and then add maybe a little bit more veggies, either, you know, some celery or pepper just on the side, then that could become a complete meal if you're eating. You wouldn't have to add a whole half of a cup of chicken because we do already have some protein in here from the nuts and seeds. Keep stirring that until all your apples especially are covered. You can see that that dressing has nicely coated everything. Wipe down all your sides so it all kind of gets to marinate together. And this salad, I have to admit, tastes best cold. So put that in the fridge until you are ready to serve that up. So it says 1 handful of mint as our last ingredient. So mint again is a spice or an herb that has a thicker stem in the middle. So you don't want that thick stem. So you're just going to pull up on that. Try to pull those off without getting the stem. And it really depends on what kind of mint you're going to add as to how much. This is not a peppermint. Is that what we decided? It's a very mild mint. So remember, when we talk about mints, we're looking at the health benefits of fresh herbs. So anytime you can add a fresh herb to your food, whether it be on your salad or on your sandwich or in a salad, it's going to be, not that you can really tell that you're getting more nutritious and healthy as you're eating it, but it definitely is going to be something that your body craves. You'll be getting healthier and cleansing your body and your liver and getting all those nutritional benefits into your body to fight off those diseases as you eat those herbs. So I did sharpen my knife, so let's do a little fine chopping. Those leaves aren't too big though, so. And remember, in herbs, it's the oil that's in those leaves that gives it that distinct flavor and smell. So you do have to chop them up in order to get that flavor out, or you'll just have to get the flavor when you chew it in your teeth. There we go.
I heard if you chop it to the point where you got green smear on the cutting board, you chop it too much.
Marianne says that if you chop it too much so there's green smearing on your cutting board, then you're losing a lot of the natural oils and the flavors onto your cutting board. So that's just a little too much. So there we have it, apple carrot fall salad.